My goodness, why it's so difficult today? 1 2 3 1 2 3. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Please let me know. Yes, it's working. Oh my goodness, it took so much time. Why? It's so simple. Yes, it's working. Oh my goodness, it took so much time. Why? So simple. Yes, it's working. Oh my goodness, it took so much time. Let's wait until someone will join us. Because why not? I had to switch to my tablet, which is not the best because video will be worse quality. But anyway, uh, I talked a lot before switching to unmuted version of the video, so I'm already tired because of talking. Anyway, I'm making that video just to entertain myself during that difficult transition to 2026. I'm spending that evening alone, as most of my evenings. And basically, I thought, okay, I'll make another episode of so-called Snapshot of the Mind, because I'm making that videos where I'm answering questions, which I'm asking, like I'm asking ChatGPT to ask me some questions, and later I'm answering that questions. And yeah, so I thought, okay, I'll entertain myself today by doing that. It's more entertaining and interesting for me than going somewhere, actually. I think. Yeah, I'm an artist, so that summary about 2025 will be about my art and what happens in that year. Actually, it was quite intense year of work. I made a lot of drawings, sketches, a lot of sketches, a lot of paintings. So I moved further when it comes to painting. I had many years without painting, actually just drawing, because whatever reason, like because of money, because of circumstances, I was not like focused on producing paintings. Paintings are expensive, so I always uh, I was always sticking to drawing because it's the cheapest way of making art. So when it comes to number of drawings, that year was quite good, but I'm always doing a lot. Um, when it comes to quality, I would expect more from myself, because I know what I want, and actually in that kind of circumstances in which I am now, and I am regular minimum wage worker, and on the side I'm trying to make some art. In that kind of circumstances, you can't achieve some level of precision, of complexity, of interesting, like you can't like produce a lot of interesting ideas in that kind of circumstances, when on everyday basis your head is basically somewhere else. You need to do a lot of different kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm quite happy when it comes to number of drawings, not so much about quality of drawings. I'm quite happy when it comes to paintings which I produced. Although again, I would love to make bigger paintings and better quality. Basically, everything would be, should be like a better quality, but because of, as I say, like because of circumstances, being very tired with my everyday job as a probably autistic person with Asperger's syndrome or something like that, it's very challenging for me to handle customer service. um, so basically, to understand what people mean without saying anything, it's impossible for me. You need to be very straightforward when it comes to me. For me, like, emotions could not exist basically, because everything is on cognitive level all the time. But emotions exist in that sense that anxiety is killing me all the time. Anyway, so what I'm doing when it comes to snapshots of the mind, I'm answering questions about art, philosophy, and so on, about things which interest me the most. So what I'm usually doing is asking ChatGPT to ask me some questions, and I've done it this time as well. So I asked ChatGPT to ask me 200 creative, unusual, and nice questions about topics which interest me the most. And generally, that video will be a little bit chaotical. If you want me to ask, if you want to ask any questions, whatever subject, you can do it. First of all, you don't know who I am or something like that. And thank you. Yes, it's working. And now it's working. If Omizu, if you want to ask any question, just go for it. It's a crazy video, chaotical, crazy video. We can make something even more chaotical with your help. Chaotical is creative, and chaotical can be good for entertainment, basically. So I answered hundreds of questions in that series of videos, Snapshot of the Mind. Everything is posted on YouTube. Before, it was stored on Facebook, because those were Facebook lives mostly. But because Facebook Meta changed the rules, and basically they removed all live videos stored on fan pages. And if I would not notice that they are changing that, I would lost like hours of videos talking about everything what is important for me. So I'm not conspiracy theorist, but it pissed me off, and I thought like, oh, someone made it on purpose, like to make my life more difficult. Uh, anyway, so I'll answer another whatever number of questions from ChatGPT. Probably repeating myself, but who knows? Maybe I lost some cognitive powers, and because of COVID or something, and I'll be answering in a different way this time. So I can repeat myself, but when it comes to, we can repeat some questions, but maybe my answer will be slightly different. So maybe, okay. So ChatGPT just created. I even haven't read that questions yet. So I'm seeing it for the first time now. So ChatGPT created like a chapters of that questions. And first chapter is called Origins, Intuition, and Inner Landscapes. When you draw, do you feel like you are discovering something that already exists or inventing something that never did? Okay, so that's another like philosophical questions. It's also about nature of human imagination and nature of mathematics as well, of math, and like, because those are related. I'm not saying that arts is math, but those are questions related. When you draw, do you feel like you are discovering something that already exists or inventing something that never did? I believe, because first of all, I'm thinking in pictures. That's first point of my answer. Another point of my answer is that I've got memory for pictures, almost photographical, and um, I know what I saw, and I know what was produced in art history, because during my education I've watched a lot of history of art, but now we've got avalanches of new pictures all the time in our streams on Instagram, Facebook, and so on. And if I'm consciously choosing something to draw, I believe that I'm choosing something which I never saw before. But because of nature of our minds, it's possible that sometimes I'm forgetting what I saw, or something like that can happen. Maybe there are some subconscious subliminal mechanisms which are basically misleading me. But I am trying to make my drawings purely based on my imagination, and I believe that what I'm inventing is truly mine and it's never existed before. So that's the general feeling, and I'm calling my art representationalism. So I'm creating representations in my mind, and I'm just describing them on paper. Those are 3D representations. Those are projects like of abstract sculptures, and I'm making 2D representations of them on paper, and I'm trying to make it as good as possible. So in the future, it can be possible to make a sculpture based on that, or quite similar sculptures where some methods, some some methods of dealing with space, with objects, can be reused in quite similar fashion. So yeah, so I'm making drawings based on my imagination, on my mental representations, and I believe that they are completely new. And of course, like, I am generally inspired by contemporary 20th century art, and it's not that I'm doing something which is separated from that context. In that context, what I'm doing is quite normal for plenty of people who believe that art is only realism, for example. It's something from the madhouse, from the mental, like, mental hospital. And I'm calling myself outsider art as well. But I believe that actually outsider artists are better artists than so-called professional artists, just because they are not following anyone and they are truly inventing uh, mental representations which never existed before, and they are probably describing states of minds which are not common for plenty of people. So because they are neurodivergent, they are different, and I don't believe that they are worse than us. They are simply different, and because of that, they are creating unusual representations, and in that way, they are more creative than so-called normal people for me. So so I believe that I'm creating something which never existed before, because I simply remember what I saw. So, or I would say those are things which I never saw before. But I believe that there is plenty of quite similar solutions when like spatial solutions in general. And that plenty of artists, engineers, architects, sculptors, they were inventing quite similar structures, because human imagination is limited, and it's limited in a similar way for plenty of people. So I imagine that I've got that limitations, and I don't even know about that. So okay, that was first question. So yes, I believe that I'm discovering something new. But like continuing, like continuation of the answer is like, I'm not inventing completely new rules of constructing objects on paper, and I'm using like a classic methods, let's say, in classic drawing, like academic drawing, I would say even. Second question: at what point does a drawing stop being a private thought and start becoming a public object? It's becoming a public object whenever it's showed. So it's this is precisely what I think about nature of art. You don't have to be in a gallery or a public institution. You don't have to be shown in that kind of places. The only thing which creates art is the act of communication. So basically, whenever you see someone's drawing or painting, you are in that art exchange already. So you are in the process of communicating with other person. So it's becoming a part of someone thought processes whenever someone is seeing it. Simple as that. So it's becoming a public object when even one person beside you is seeing that. Uh, that's what I think. So art basically it's communication, the act of communicating with people, and that's the only difference between regular conversation dialogue is that artists are using visual representations, 3D representations, structures, patterns. So it's more abstract, more mathematical, we can say. 3. Do you trust your intuition more than your intellect, or do you see them as the same process at different speeds? Intuition is I mean, I'm using I'm trying to be as let's say logical and intellectual in my art investigations as possible, because like I mean intuition is it's something automatic and not necessarily original and not necessarily new. So I am like for example I am against flow in general. Flow is when you are like highly focused, less critical than usual, and you are just making something automatically. And it's a state of feeling pleasure as well at the same time. So I've made up plenty of drawings in a flow state, highly focused, improvising, not thinking too much, just acting. You can make a lot like that, but in order to make something really spectacularly original, like extremely new, you need to have that deeper critical thoughts about your process. So it's a meta level. So Daniel Kahneman was describing like two levels of functioning, like automatical intuitional, like thought process, very intuitive brain, quick like responses, and system 2 of brain is just critical thinking. And I'm trying to critical thinking and logical thinking and analytical thinking in general. It takes time, so I think that really creative stuff are taking time and they are not coming from intuition. We would love to hear that answer that it's from intuition, but in my opinion, it's never coming from intuition. Like some breakthrough sometimes are coming from spontaneously. You never know where is it coming from, and those are small like mental revolutions. I agree that that it's like something which is like you don't know where is it coming from, but it's still to realize that, to be conscious of that, you need to be on that system 2 level when you consciously perceive your thoughts and you're making hierarchical value judgment, like if it's worth of doing on paper or not. So basically I'm very intuitive on a regular basis, and even chaotical, but when it comes to really important creative decisions, I'm trying to be as critical as possible, as intellectual as possible, because I don't want to waste time on something which just feel good, and it's not original in fact, because on that intuitive level we can make something which is feeling you can feel it in an interesting way, but it's not intellectually interesting for real. So yeah, I'm not a fan of intuition. I was a fan as a younger person, I would say, but intuition is a lot of bullshit. It's like drugs in general. Drugs can, I mean, I'm not taking drug. I'm against drugs like psilocybin or LSD. I'm not interested in that, because it's giving you actually nothing. Imagination can give you the same, but in order to make use of that imagination, you need critical thinking. So you need a frontal lobe functioning on um, higher higher order. Like you need that higher order. You need some I mean, simply the imagination, um, visions, and so on can be easily produced by your brain. You can be in a dreamlike state for a very long time, and it can lead you anywhere, like I mean nowhere actually. You need to direct that process. You need to decide, okay, that's good, that's interesting, that's not interesting. There's whole evolution of that. So yeah, no, 3 questions: origins, intuition, and inner landscape. ChatGPT made already a great job as usually. um, 4th question: can you describe the mental state you enter while drawing? Is it closer to dreaming, problem solving, or meditation? Another question which I love, absolutely love. Mental states when I enter while I'm drawing. So I would say it's like dreaming, problem solving, or meditation. So I would say that, let's say, the stages. So first stage is critical thinking. Like, I mean, there is an intuition, generation of generating ideas, critical thinking, choosing one idea, and later the process of making it real on paper. So all stages, those are different. So I would say dreaming first, later problem solving when you are choosing specific ideas, and meditative state when you are actually doing it. So it's that flow state. Because when you are executing the idea, you don't have to think a lot anymore. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's not a coincidence that ChatGPT mentioned that 3 states in that specific order, because I suppose ChatGPT is like feeded by some literature about creative process, and basically I believe that it can be because of that. So yeah. So first stage is idea generating. So ideas generation. you're like making dreamlike hallucinations in your mind, and you are choosing, and that's the critical part, problem solving, choosing what structures, for example, are original, new, and interesting, and later executing ideas and making them on paper. It's like a meditation state, flow state. Yeah, but first of all, you need to be in all on all stages very focused. So everything which is distracting you, it's destroying the creative process. It can have like nice visual effects later, but in that sense, that distraction can add something to the creative process. But basically, I believe that in order to call yourself artist, you need to really have control of that processes which are in your head. So basically, you are master of your mental states, and you can practice that. 2 minutes left, and we will be in 2026. A lot of fun. Whoever is watching, you can ask me some questions if you want. How long have you been doing what you are doing? Sorry, I haven't seen Omizu. I haven't seen your questions. I've been following your videos for a few months now. Oh, that's very cool. Absolutely love that. How long have you been doing what you are doing? So I am quite old. I am 44 years old. Almost 44, 43, sorry, to be precise. I'm always answering 44, even if I'm not there yet. I'm anticipating. Anyway, I'm 44 and I'm doing it since I'm 12. And basically drawing is my way of escaping from reality, which is very not the best for me, I would say. If I would be rich and free to do just art, I would be much more happy person, but unfortunately I have bullshit minimum wage job and I need to spend a lot of time there. So Omizu, thank you for your question. Ask more. It's very rare that anyone wants to ask me any questions, so it's very cool. 2026. Have a nice one, people. Have a nice one. Let's make that 2026 even more creative than 2025. Have as much fun as possible, and let's make 2026 more peaceful for everyone, because war is bullshit. War is pure stupidity. Omizu, what are you doing in your life? Can you describe me? Who are you, Omizu? Paints. Are you an artist as well? Okay, I'll ask myself another question from ChatGPT. Whoa! They are shooting, yes, 2026. It's so fucking mind blowing, yes. You are an artist from USA. That's fantastic. Um, how old are you, Omizu? I bet you are very young. Yeah. By the way, I am from London. I'm originally from Poland. I am in London like 6 years now. Just because it's easier to make money. Oh, you are in your early 50s. That's interesting. Cool. I would not expect that. I don't know why. But anyway, randomness. I love drawing and painting. I'm in my 50s, early 50s. Cool. I'll check your channel when I'll finish that live streaming. So, okay, I'll ask myself another question. I mean, do you believe imagination is a personal faculty or shared cognitive space we tap into? I mean, imagination is very personal. It's the most personal thing you can ever imagine. Imagine. How would you describe the work you make? I am calling what I'm doing representationalism. So I'm basically documenting representations from my mind, abstract representations, abstract three-dimensional representations. I like complexity. I like complexity, and basically I'm looking for challenges, like special, spatial, like dimensional, like three-dimensional challenges. Like I'm trying to find, like let's say, complex structures which are not based on nature, which are purely like mathematical. So it's more like how do you call it? Anyway, there are fields of math which are dealing with three-dimensional spaces. So topology, that's what I say. So my art is about topological structures, I would say, and limits of my imagination. And that's the simplest way to describe it. There are some feelings, of course, maniacal feelings. Not sure. Yeah, I mean, of course, those are like organic structures as well. I'm pretty much sure that structures which I'm inventing can be quite similar to some biological structures, although I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm exploring like abstract world of imagination, so it's like so it's a rule-based world so there are some rules of constructing that object, but that rules are not coming from nature. They are just purely invented. So it's like I'm creating some algorithms, of course, of creating that object. There are some symbolical as well messages, but I'll not go there because it's very complicated. No, anyway, I'll answer. Yeah, I mean, if you if you are constructing something, if you want to make a three-dimensional structure, it has to be based on some kind of rules. How do you come up with the rules? So, for example, okay, there are the rules. Like, I mean, I don't like rules actually in life and on paper so much, but for example, some when I was younger, I was making biological shapes, and I started finding limits of what I can show on the paper. So I created the rule that I'll be drawing transparent objects, and transparent objects are allowing you to create more complex structures. That's one of the rule, yeah. And there are different. You can apply different rules to transparent objects as well. So those are simple stuff, like you can make them empty inside, that they've got just walls, or they are full of something. They are not empty inside, and so on. They can be soft, they can be hard, that kind of stuff. So you are creating some kind of physics of your own world, and later you've got connections between that structures, and those are like, I'm thinking about them as structures which can be done in real life later, architectural structures, and basically yeah, so there is some kind of logic, but I'm trying to not limit myself by logic. It's like a very it's a pure freedom. So do you believe imagination is a personal faculty or shared cognitive space we tap into? So imagination is very personal, but we can share that imagination with someone, obviously. So yeah, so it's something which can be shared, definitely. It's like math can be shared and language can be shared, and that's basically the same kind of, I mean, that's the language as well, visual language. So I'm just checking something. I'm making recording here on video as well. And I'm checking if I'm able to charge my camera while I'm filming. Anyway, sixth question. How much of your work feels intentional and how much feels accidental? it's about circumstances. So if I've got everything on under control, it's very intentional. When I'm very busy, as I am recently very busy, then it's quite accidental, because then it's coming from the flow state, and I'm making it in random places on town. So I'm going around city drawing, and I don't know where I will be sitting, how long I will be able to spend, how much time I will be able to spend there, and so on. So yeah, recently it's quite accidental, unfortunately. I would love to have studio and to sit in the studio and think twice about everything, so it will be less accidental. Seventh question. Have you ever been surprised by your own drawings, as if someone else made them? That's amazing questions. Yeah, the question. Yeah, absolutely. That feeling is especially strong when you see something which you've made a few years ago. Um, Sometimes I'm really surprised by precision of that drawing. Sometimes I'm surprised by how good it is. Sometimes I don't feel anything, and I know that I felt something when I was drawing that. And yeah, sometimes I think in what kind of state of mind I've been when I was doing that drawing, uh, and I'm surprised that I've done that drawing. That's it's like some other person would do it. Uh, but still, uh, usually I'm quite pleased with what I see. It's like seeing part of your own brain, basically, on your own body. It's everything is very personal, and basically all that drawings are like symbols of some states of the mind. So basically, drawings, in my opinion, those are documentations of the states of the mind, and seeing old drawings is allowing me to come back to that state of mind. I just simply better remember what I was doing back then. My autobiographical memories are coming back then. So I'm sometimes like, yeah, sometimes I'm surprised by my own drawings, in a bad way, in a good way, and especially after some time, because it's not so fresh in your memory in what kind of state of mind I was back then. Do you think images can think independently of language? That's a stupid question. That's first stupid question from ChatGPT, which which I see. And do you think images can think independently of language? Absolutely not. I mean, images are not thinking on its own. That's why that question is stupid. Although it's like if it's a rule-based word, like a mathematical word, um, it's there are simply some rules, and all structures from that word can follow that rules, and in that sense they are independent of the language. Do you think images can think independently of language? That's a stupid question, but yeah, I believe that we can think in images independently of language, like spoken language, and it's probably what many philosophers called language of thought, but I'm not sure if its precise meaning, which, for example, Noam Chomsky had. Simply, I'm mostly thinking in images, not in words. Words are just a way to transmit all that intuitions which are coming from visualizations, let's say. In my case, everyone is different, every brain is different, and everyone's brain processing is different, I believe. That was 8th question. Stupid question. Is your practice a way of understanding yourself or escaping yourself? It's definitely a way of understanding yourself, because whatever you are doing, if you are playing piano, if you are a programmist, if you are sportsman, whatever you do, I think any activity, it's a mirror of your states of your mind. And I've learned a lot about myself making drawings, and I'm constantly in the process of learning about myself. But art is especially interesting activity because you are dealing with limits and your imagination in general. So you've got plenty of insight and you are thinking a lot, and that can give you a lot of self-knowledge. And I finished some art high school. I studied on Academy of Fine Arts. I saw other people like doing the same thing, and everyone is doing it completely different from different reasons. Everyone has different creative ideas, processes, different kind of imagination. Everyone is interested in something else, and art is allowing you to see your thought process on paper. So it's even more than any other process in which you are taking part, taking like other activities are not showing your imagination so well, your thought processes so well. When you are a writer, for example, it's the same. You are all the time dealing with limits of yourself, of your knowledge, of your imagination, and so on. So it's allowing you to like really know yourself quite well, and because of that mode of constant simulation, mental simulation, you are putting yourself in very unusual, let's say, imagined circumstances, and then also it's like a simulation of your possible actions. So, but real life is telling you more truth about yourself. So, for example, every new job is telling you more about yourself than any activity which you are like cultivating since childhood. It's very different. When you are learning new stuff, you're learning about yourself even more, I think. 10th question. What role does confusion play in your creative process? Confusion is a value in art for sure, for the viewer, but I don't want confusion, because I want to document very precisely my imagination and my states of mind. So I want to represent my thoughts in a most vivid, clear, and intelligible way possible. Like, so I am, many artists is like love confusion, love mystery, love accidents, and that effect of surprise. I want to be as predictable as possible, I would say, because I'm making simply a documentation of the states of my mind, not creating nice feelings in a viewer's brain. That's a different story a little bit. 11th question. Do you feel responsible for the meanings other projects onto your work? Absolutely not. I don't give a fuck what others think about my artworks. Art is basically mostly for the artists. And you can enjoy it or not, but it's like, you can buy it or not, but it's simply it's not artist like business what will happen later with that. You can hope that something good will happen, that someone will understand your intention and so on. But basically, I believe that art is mainly for the artists, for example, for saving memes which you've got in your brain. That's my belief. I mean, that's for sure my story. That's what I want to do. 12th question. When does a drawing feel finished, and who decides that? Drawing is finished when I decide that that it's finished. Obviously, no one else can decide that. Artists are always fully responsible for what they are doing. Nobody should be allowed to influence your art creative process. And my art is never finished, in that sense that there's always something which you would be able to add to artwork. The only limitation is like the number of space, I mean the space on the paper. There is some limit to resolution of resolution of that's of showing like representations. So I mean, you can't show representations in such a detail as it is in your brain, because in your brain it's like a fractal reality. You can build it and add to it and add to it, because it's a world based on some rules, in my case usually, and you can make a whole universe like that, and so it's never finished. Do you see your work as a self-expression or as a research? One is not excluding the other. It's self-expression and research, basically, because we don't know ourselves precisely. I mean, very well. We don't know ourselves very well. We are constantly learning about ourselves. So yeah, it's a self-expression and research program at the same time. 14. Are you trying to communicate something specific or to generate questions? I want to, like for example, I believe that brain is functioning based on some algorithms. That brain is basically a machine which is functioning in that in a rule based way. So there are some algorithms which are basically on the basis of any of your everyday activity, and I believe that art is a way to preserve that algorithms by simply showing states of your mind and your imagination. You can simply preserve that, and it's not only about the way you are constructing that representations and the nature of that representations, but it's also about creative process. That creative process can be documented and it can be imitated by computers, for example, artificial intelligence, neural networks, or but probably you would need to have some more sophisticated artificial intelligence to fully copy your way of thinking. But I believe that it's possible to copy that way of thinking, and it's a way of preserving yourself. You can preserve yourself by having kids, passing your DNA further. I don't have a kid, so I'm making my art, and but even like making kids, it's different because you are passing further just part of your genes, and but you are not preserving specifically your brain, and you are not preserving your algorithms. You can preserve like that just a part of yourself. In arts, you can make quite detailed, high resolution documentation of the states of your mind, of your aesthetics, of documentation of what's interested you, what you thought, and so on. So basically, self-expression is allowing you to save quite a lot, because we are not as deep as we think. Like whatever we think, we can actually express in language, if what we think makes any sense, and it can be saved. I generally believe that people are not as deep as they think they are. We are predictable. We are functioning based on some rules and algorithms, not only because of social structure and duties, but also because simply our brains are limited, and we are usually repeating the same activities all the time. Like So art is like the way of preserving your way of thinking, of creating as well. 15th question. Is drawing closer to remembering or to forecasting? I believe it's more of a forecasting, but as with forecasters, you have to have a very good record of the past. So remembering is extremely important. Like for example, if you want to create something completely new, you need to remember what was in the past. So I remember what I've drawn, all my drawings, even if it's thousands of drawings. I know what I've been doing a few years ago and so on. I remember. So memory is extremely important in creative process. I mean, it's not necessary condition, but it's quite important in my opinion. And if you want to construct some logical, coherent, like words of in your imagination, you have to remember stuff. That's why I am against drugs and alcohol, because it's destroying your mental representations. You don't remember simply. You thought about something and you don't remember later. I've been drinking when I was a teenager and in my 20s, but I stopped drinking because I saw how it's influencing my creative process. 16th. Do you think your unconscious has better ideas than your conscious mind? Good ideas were coming from unconscious and from conscious, but I'm not comfortable with the word unconscious, because everything at some point is conscious, and if you want to make use of any ideas, you are always operating on the conscious level. So unconscious, I would say it's simply random, and you are simply by accident mixing some ideas in your head and creating some new value. But it's not that it's unconscious. It's not that your brain, like without you knowing, made something, and you believe that now it's in your like it came ready. Absolutely, I don't believe that is the case. You are always preparing yourself to create something. For example, I'm reading a lot of articles on about, I don't know, neuroscience, and sometimes some ideas are coming because at some point I realized that two unrelated ideas you would think are in fact related. Anyway, so I'm not a fan of unconscious processes. I know that there are automatic processes in your brain, of course, like you are not controlling your breathing process, you are not controlling your beating of your heart, and there are that kind of process, automatic processes. But when it comes to more structured, higher order thinking, planning, and so on, and creative ideas, I think it's always in the states of mind when you are monitoring everything what you are thinking. So 17th, is your practice driven more by curiosity or by anxiety? I'm as curious as anxious. uh, I am um, I am more. I think I am more curious about what I can create than anxious. uh, anyway, yeah, curiosity is very strong in my mind. Like I am extremely curious person. That's why I love science. I can read as much as I'm able to. Um, I am more curiosity driven, not anxiety. If I would be anxiety driven person so much, I would not come to a foreign country, to a completely new city, uh, doing stuff which I never done before. That's I'm doing it because of curiosity, uh, mainly. 18th. Can failure exist in drawing or only abandonment? I'm not sure if I understand what ChatGPT wanted to ask me. Can failure exist in drawing or only abandonment? Drawing, of course, there are failures. I'm making mistakes all the time in my drawings, and it's just because you think about something, you want to make it in some particular way, but for example, you put a line in a wrong place, and you are not able to do it anymore in that way. So failure exists, of course. Mistakes are made all the time in my drawings. I've During my whole life I've learned how to pretend that something was planned, or like to hide that mistakes, but that mistakes are constantly happening. Like, and of course, like art is nobody gives a shit. It's not so important like activity. Simply, it's you can always say that it was planned, and okay, that's it can be like that. But if you think that in art there is no mistakes, watch the film The Room, for example. um, there are bad movies. There is a bad art as well. So in a way, there are some mistakes. Um, but it doesn't matter, because like a virtual reality, it's like a simulated, invented worlds, and nobody is treating it seriously. So in that way, it's like a playground. And yeah, so can failure exist in drawing? Yes, of course. What part of yourself are you most afraid of revealing through your art, your work? Um, I'm always afraid of showing my naivety, uh, but I know that I like that in other artists. So if I see something childlike, uh, I sympathize with artists more. Uh, because it's like that quotation mark, that's, yeah, we are telling some story here, but it's just a story, so don't treat it so seriously. So if it's a little bit naive, it's like creating more distance, and but I'm a little bit afraid of being stupid in arts, but you are always a little bit stupid for someone. Um, um, yeah, I mean, it's like I discovered that I've got Asperger syndrome at some point. That's my own like research and my own discovery. I am self-diagnosed, but and as with Asperger syndrome, autism, you just don't realize that you are doing something weird, or unusual or crazy for someone, and because you believe all the time that you are making something in a most logical and the best way possible. So you don't want to like discover at some point that everyone is treating you as someone different than you think about yourself. So that's the most painful discovery you could make, that everyone is treating you differently than you would want to be treated. And art is like that kind of activity that you are staying naked in front of others, actually, when it comes to your mental world and representations. 20th question. Do you believe the self that draws is stable or constantly mutating? Unfortunately, we are changing, and we are changing. I mean, it's good and bad, but we are evolving, I would say. We are getting old, and I know that my art is changing a lot. Is changing through time, and the self is not stable. Absolutely, the self doesn't exist. Stable self doesn't exist. We are like biological learning machines. We are learning all the time, and with all that learning, we are changing personalities, sometimes quite radically. Like for example, I'm speaking English. 7 years ago, I wasn't speaking English at all, almost. So, do you believe the self that draws is stable, or constantly mutating? So, in the process of drawing, you have to be stable. You have to have, first of all, you need to have stable representation in your mind. That's something which has to be stable if you want to really like decide, okay, that mental representation will be on that canvas, and it for some short period of time you need to be stable and sure that it will not change completely. Of course, you can change that a little bit. It can evolve during the process, but most of that structure is usually there. But after a few years or so, you're a completely different person. Like, absolutely, I am different person than I was when I was 10. I am different person than I was a year ago, and so on. There's nothing stable. Soul doesn't exist. There's just a brain, biological brain, which is constantly changing, unfortunately, not in that direction in which we would like it to be changing. Like, so yeah, so we are mutants all the time. That was 20 questions from ChatGPT. There's 190 more, but it was quite long live. I'm very happy that someone new appeared here. That live will be on my live category on YouTube. for some time, and I filmed that as well with my new amazing camera, so it will be in higher resolution as well from different point of view. And I'll be making snapshots of the mind in 2026, maybe on more regular basis, but I don't know. Yeah, it was fun speaking with you. It was quite nice evening with ChatGPT and my new friend Omizu Paints. Oh, you are still watching. That's amazing. Thank you very much, Omizu. I will start following you in a moment. Yeah, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Thanks for participating in my live stream. That's pretty amazing. Take care, Omizu. Yeah, see you next time. Maybe very soon. How to